Lesson 2-7, and we are covering some fantastic stuff in this lesson. I know, I'm the only one who gets excited about math. That's okay. First, vocabulary word, proportion, which I believe you've seen before, but let's make sure you have a definition. A proportion is an equation setting two ratios equal to each other. For example, A over B equals C over D, which can also be read as A is to B as C is to D. It's like the mathematical equivalent of an analogy. Cross products. This is where I start to get very excited. Cross products means in A over B equals C over D, AD and BC are called cross products. You do not have to write this. This is something for you to know. This is a most helpful math tool. Why is it a most helpful math tool? Because of the cross products property. AD is equal to BC. So when you have an equation that's two fractions like that, you can multiply this and that and clear the fraction. It's called cross multiplying. Yay! So in your book, let's take a quick look at problem 1. Problem 1 wants you to go ahead and solve this proportion using the multiplication property. So you're going to clear this fraction. You're going to multiply each side of the equation by 12, and then you divide. I'm going to show you the other way to do it. I don't even want you to do got it number 1 using the multiplication property. We are going to move on to page 125 and start using cross products. So, page 125, take a look. The cross products property of a proportion. So if on your next test I ask you for an example of the cross products property, this is what it should look like. If A over B equals C over D, then AD equals BC. And here's an example. 3/4 equals 9/12, so 3 times 12 is equal to 4 times 9, or 36 is equal to 36. Now, in case you are doubtful or confused, here's why it works. This is called a proof. You do a lot of these in geometry. A over B equals C over D. You are given that that is true. So, multiply each side by the common denominator BD. Right? BD times A over B is the same thing as BD times C over D. Then you're going to clear the common factors. Zoom in a little more. Oh, that's much better. So the B's cancel on this side of the equation. The D's cancel on that side of the equation. You end up with DA equals BC. And then if you flip those around because of the commutative property, AD, BC, which we could have just gotten from cross-multiplying AD and BC. Ta-da! This is not vocabulary, which I'm happy about. It's just, well, we'll see if you need this at another point in your math career. A and D are called the extremes of the proportion, and B and C are called the means. This is something you do hear every once in a while. The product of the means equals the product of the extremes. It's a catchy little rhyme if it helps you. A, D are the extremes. B, C are called the means. Problem 2 is what I really want to get to. What is the solution of that proportion? 4 over 3 equals 8 over x. You're just going to cross multiply. Yay! 4x equals 24. Divide each side by 4. Done. And got it. Number 2, letter A. What is the solution of that proportion? Y over 3 equals 3 over 5. Get it in your notebook. Get started. We'll go over it together. So number 2a, y over 3 equals 3 over 5. We're going to cross multiply. So we end up with 5 times y equals 3 times 3. You'll notice I'm still putting the stars in here. You must write the problem down. You must show me that 5y equals 9. If you don't want to include that step, that's okay. And therefore y equals 9 over 5. Done. Letter B. They want you to pick a preferred way to solve this problem. It's the same problem. You're just going to solve it either using cross multiplication or using the multiplication property. Well, I believe I did cross multiplying first. If you cross multiply, yeah, then you have 3b equals 5 times 13, and you're practically done. If you decide to use multiplication property, then you have to multiply each side of this equation by 5b. The 5's will cancel out on this side, you're left with 3b. The b's will cancel out on this side, you're left with 13 times 5. And take a look. You've got the same thing. 3b equals 5 times 13 over here. 3b equals 13 times 5 over here. We know those are equal. It's just a question of which way works for you. I'm a big fan of cross multiplying. Problem 3, same idea. We just add another step. Given the proportion, the quantity b minus 8 over 5 equals the quantity b plus 3 over 4, we're going to cross multiply. 4 times the quantity b minus 8 on this side, 5 times the quantity b plus 3 on this side. What happens if you do it the other way and you have 5 times the quantity b plus 3 on this side and 4 times the quantity b minus 8 on this side? It's fine, it's all the same thing. Then you're going to use your distributive property, 4b, don't forget to multiply 4 and negative 8, 5b, don't forget to multiply 5 and 3, then simplify, done, piece of cake. Number 3, what is the solution to this proportion? N over 5 equals 2n plus 4 over 6. Grab your notebooks, let's figure it out. Step 1, copy the problem into your notebook, required for everybody. Step 2, do your cross multiplying. 6n, 5 times the quantity 2n plus 4. I should see that in everybody's book. Next step, multiply it out. 6n equals 10n plus 20. I should see that step as well. And finally, I did skip a step here because I just subtracted 10n in my head. So you end up with negative 4n on this side equals 20 on this side. Divide each side by negative 4. I should see that step, and I should see your answer nicely circled to make it clear. Back to your book, let's take a quick look at number 4, the last problem for this lesson. So, this is a kind of a useful thing. I love how they say portable media player. Your iPod has 2 gigs of storage and can hold 500 songs. A larger iPod has 80 gigs of storage. How many songs can you hold on the next iPod after you mow enough lawns to earn enough money to buy it? Well, set up a proportion. There's something very important about the way this proportion is set up. Take a look. Gigs on top, songs on the bottom. Gigs on top, songs on the bottom. What is important is the units stay the same on either fraction. So once you decide to put gigs on top over here, you have to put gigs on top over here. Otherwise, your problem will be wrong. Once you set it up, it's easy. Just multiply, cross multiply, 2s equals 500 times 80, and you're done. The bigger iPod can hold 20,000 songs. Take a look at number 4. An 8-ounce can of orange juice contains 97 milligrams of vitamin C. About how many milligrams of vitamin C are there in a 12-ounce can of orange juice? Think about how to set this proportion up so that the units stay consistent, and then let's go over it. You have 2 choices. You can either have put ounces on top and milligrams on the bottom. I used C as my variable. Whatever you chose was fine. So on one side I have 8 ounces over 97. On the other side I have 12 ounces over my variable milligrams. Or I could have done it the other way. Milligrams on top, 97, and my variable, and ounces on the bottom, 8 and 12. Either way you do it, when you cross multiply, you end up with 8 times C equals 97 times 12, or 12 times 97. So 8C equals 1,164, and you are left with 145.5 milligrams of C in that larger container of orange juice. At this time, you can do the rest of your homework. On page 127, I want you to do number 11 and 13 like they ask you to, using the multiplication property, not cross-multiplying. The rest of these, 19 through 33 odd, you can use cross products, or starting with 27, you can choose, take your pick. But I want you to do those problems tonight. We'll go over them tomorrow. Well done!